Well, you're going to find out, man, that, I like to talk, and which is weird because I was always an introvert, man, growing up my whole life. And something happened around the age of 32, I guess, man. Maybe it was when I was boxing professional. I got hit in the head and rattled something loose.
Meet the Pressers with Matt Mallory and Clint Macro. Brought to you by Public Safety and Education and the Trigger Pressers Union. And now, your hosts.
Welcome to Meet the Pressers. My name is Clint Macro, and this is my esteemed co-host, Matt Mallory.
Dun-dun-dun. Thanks for that awesome introduction, Clint. So we have Dale Comstock, a very special guest.
This episode is made possible with the generous support of Nikon, Shooter Technology Group, ASP, Lee Armory, Saber Red, and the Safer, Faster Defense Responder 2.0. Thank you.
I'll just kind of give you the Reader's Digest version of my background. I joined the Army. Actually, I kind of went down and talked to the recruiter when I was 17, and as soon as I turned 18, I went in to the U.S. Army. Now, my initial goal was to go in as an Army Ranger, and they told me I had a slot until it was time to actually go to the Army. They're like, oh, sorry, the slot's not available, but you can go to the 82nd Airborne Division and then just tell your Sergeant Major you want to go to Ranger School, and it's no problem. They'll just send you, just like that, right? So anyways, that was a con job.
Yep.
So I ended up in the 82nd Airborne Division. I was in the infantry. I was in the LRP unit at the time that was reinstated by General Lindsay back in 1982-83. And then after my first enlistment of 4 years, I was at a crossroad. I was married and had a little girl, my oldest daughter, Danielle, at the time. And I had to make a decision. Do I want to stay in or do I want to get out? And frankly, and I'm not knocking the 82nd Airborne Division, but I just didn't feel like it was really a challenge anymore. Carrying rucksacks, shooting guns, jumping out of airplanes was cool, but I just felt like on a professional level, I needed more, which is, it's my character. So anyways, what ended up happening was I remember I made a phone call to my mom. I said, Mom, I think I'm getting out of the Army. Would you mind putting my wife and I up in the house for a minute until I get on my feet? And her answer was no, not no, but hell no. And so she kind of made a decision for me. So I said, all right, I guess I'll be recruiting now or re-enlisting. And so I did. And I decided if I'm going to re-enlist that, I'm going to go for the gusto, which was try out for a Delta Force. So I just happened to get a letter at the same time from them to apply to go through their evaluation process to see if I'm qualified, to go through their assessment selection process, to go to the operators training course to see if I could be a Delta Force operator. And but I did. So I went for it and ultimately made it, and at the time I was the youngest guy ever to make it to the unit at the age of 23. So it worked out for me pretty good. So I spent 10 years there. I went to the Special Forces Qualification course, became a Green Beret, light and heavy weapons expert, and ultimately ended up in the 3rd Special Forces Group before I retired. And I was a team sergeant for ODA 394. And then from there, I left service. So, but it didn't end there. So right after I got out, right as I got out, I had finished my master's degree in business and organizational security management. And I had started my own company. It was a virtual company, hadn't gone anywhere yet. And then 9/11 happened and the door swung wide open. I got into the nuclear security realm and I provided pretty much security for at least 42 nuclear power plants in the United States. And just to kind of put that in perspective, there are 64 nuclear power plants, or there was at that time, 64 power plants or companies in the U.S. and 117 reactors, and I was servicing at least 42 of those. And I pretty much put my competition out of business. And there's a long story behind that. But anyways, I did that. And in 2004, we sold that company. Me and my partner basically parted ways. The company was sold to G4S. And then I started another company called Risk Control Institute, which I sold in 2011 to another company called Intrepid. So now backing up a little bit, in 2002, 2003, I was recruited by OGA, and I'll just leave it at that. I like to just kind of call them the Office of Government Affairs. And I pretty much did the same thing that I had been doing in the military, making a little bit more money and dealing with a lot less Americans. So I did that for 9.5 years, concurrently as I'm running my other business, Risk Control Institute. And then in 2011, I made the choice based on an agreement I had with, in fact, it was Intrepid. They said, listen, if you can help us secure a contract with an oil company, a particular one, we would buy your company, and then you could run your vertical under us. So at the time, it made sense for a lot of different reasons. I did succeed at getting that contract for them, and off to the races. So I put my resignation letter in to the government. And then at the same time, I got picked up by Discovery Channel. Wasn't trying to be an actor or movie star, but basically somebody referred me. I got a call from Discovery Channel and ended up on their TV show called One Man Army. And that pretty much opened the doors for me in Hollywood. I ended up on NBC, Stars and Stripes. I've been on Fox. I've been on TV shows. I've been doing a lot of things as far as the entertainment sector is concerned. But I'm not an entertainer. Maybe I'm entertaining to look at. But, my real passion is security. And so in 2013, I ended up going to Hong Kong. And basically, I was in charge running a protective detail for a billionaire investment banker. And I did that, and then that's when I met my current wife, and we basically ended up moving to Indonesia about 5 years ago, I guess. Now it's 5.5 years, something like that, and ended up going over there. And I really just went over there. I didn't have a purpose or anything, just other than to follow her around. And when I got there, I thought, well, heck, man, why don't I start networking a little bit, make some friends here? And I did through social media. And one thing led to another. And so today I have a security company that I own and run with my wife down in Bali, Indonesia, providing explosive detector dogs, patrol dogs for all the Marriott Resort hotels and other tourist venues there. So pretty cool. I get to live in Bali. It's like the coolest place on the planet. Take it from a guy that's been to over 80 countries, lived there, worked there, and visited. Bali is by far my favorite. Hong Kong was my second favorite, but that place is burning down now. But I'm enjoying life, So I commute back and forth to the U.S. I have a home here in Panama City Beach as well. I come back about every 3 to 4 weeks and spend about 3 or 4 weeks here so that I can see my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter. And then I go back to Bali and see my family there and run the business. So that's kind of a macro view of who I am, what I do. I do other things I do concurrently right now. I'm trained, like while I'm here in the States, I'll go train law enforcement officers. I've got a deal I got to go do next year or next month. I'm writing 5 books currently. I'm going to have those published within 12 months. That's my plan. I'm getting very active in public speaking roles. I've got some businesses I'm developing with some large companies out there. I go on all day long. I'm still acting. I'm still doing stunt work. I'm kind of a jack of many trades, and which is really nice because when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, damn, I'm out of money. What am I going to do today? I'll go run a firearms course, or I'll go get an acting job, or, I'll do whatever. And so I have the skill sets that allows me to enjoy life, man, and be a sovereign man, pretty much, So I'm living the dream.
Yeah, Clint and I are both self-employed, so that's definitely something. We've talked about that with other guests in the past, that it's something that you really don't really aspire to go back to, though Clint does agree that having a steady paycheck would be a nice thing, but
yeah, it would be. But, then you get off of your ass and you get motivated and go do something, and you make a hell of a lot more money than you'd get for that little paycheck that you would collect at the end of the week.
Yeah.
That's right. And, and anybody that thinks running a business or being self-employed is easy, they have no idea how hard it is, because you know what? Running a business is a 24/7 endeavor, man. There's no days off. Even your weekends are working weekends, your vacations are working vacations. It's a lot of work, and there's a lot of risk as well. And, it's easy to go to work from 8 to 5 and have an employer. And I'm not knocking anybody that wants to do that. There is some security in that, but ultimately you're at the mercy of your employer, and your life is kind of constrained by their policies and, how many days vacation you get. You're only going to make so much money with maybe a pay increase. Whereas being an entrepreneur, an individual business owner,
sky's the limit.
Exactly.
Very true.
And man, how cool is that? You can get up in the morning whenever you want, go to bed whenever you want, do whatever you want,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as long as you can manage everything, so what? It's good times.
So I saw on your website, you're a life coach. How does that work?
We have a tendency, especially in the NCO Corps, to shortchange ourselves, right? And so what I've tried to do over the years is inspire guys. And it doesn't matter if you're an officer, an NCO, or enlisted guy or girl, I don't care, how to be better and show you that, you can be all that you can be and then some, you just got to want it bad enough. So I do coaching sometimes for guys that are just interested in business, and I talk to them about, how to negotiate the minefields in business, how to do things a certain way and what not to do. I talk about, all the issues with human resources, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I try to help people grow. And particularly, guys that are just getting out of the military going, well, what do I do now? Do I drive a roach coach or do I drive the taxi? I'm like, no, you don't do either one of those. You drive the company, man. You sit at the top, in the wheelhouse, man. You're commanding. That's what you're going to do. That's if you want to do that, So that's what I try to motivate people to do. That's what I do. I'm living the dream, and I'm not bragging, but I am living the dream, have been for the last 18 years, and and it's not because anybody handed me anything. It's not because I was born with an education. In fact, my father had 11th grade education. He spent 20 years in the Army. My mom had 9th grade education. Nobody on either side of the family had a college degree. I went out and I did the hard work, man. I burned the midnight oil while I was in special forces, got my bachelor's degree, got my master's degree. I got my PhD later when I was working for OGA. In combat, by the way, I earned my entire PhD while deployed downrange, okay? So, if I wasn't sleeping in the gym or shooting bad guys, then I was studying, right? And that's what you got to do. If you want to move ahead in life, you want to be better, you've got to make the sacrifice. And did I sacrifice any of my happiness? Hell no. I have done everything I wanted to do in life, everything, and then some. Okay. And my biggest fear is I'm running out of shit to do. And then if I run out of things to do, I'm going to die. I'm like a shark, man. I got to keep moving, right? Otherwise I'll suffocate. And so I keep adding stuff into the bucket list because that's what keeps me moving forward. Right. And,
I'd be willing to bet folding money you're not going to run out of anything to do. You'll always find the next challenge, the next thing to tackle.
Yeah, even if it means going back and redoing something else, I don't want to keep moving forward.
One of my friends, he had said that he feels like he's reached the pinnacle of his career, and what he's doing now is he's going back and mentoring other people that are at the beginning of their career in the firearms industry, and making contacts, introducing them to people, bringing them to events, stuff like that. And he brought me to a cigar social at the NRA's annual meeting, and because of that, he introduced me to somebody at Brownells, who introduced me to somebody at Ameland, and that's how I got my George Zimmerman article published. So
there you go.
So that's his way to do it.
Yeah, and here's another secret about business, right? And these are things I talk about in my coaching. Business is not about what you know. It's about who you know and do they like and respect you, okay? Mm-hmm. I've learned that 1,000 times now. It doesn't matter if you don't know squat. As long as you're a good person and you can appeal to them and they like you and they respect you and they trust you, you're going to get the business, right? And so that doesn't mean you can't go do things without skills, right? Because then you're a total fraud and you'll be discovered. But I have signed up for positions or jobs that I really didn't know, but I said I can do it, and they liked me, and they gave me an opportunity. And I went out on my own, self-taught, learned how to do it, and did it well. That's the kind of drive and initiative that you have to take. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to give you anything. You're going to have to work for it. You have to earn it, man. And you life's about choices, man. It's a series of compromises. You can do this or you can do that, and you have to live with the consequences. I'm a firm believer in self-actualization, that we create our own destiny, and so, if you're a negative person, you're always thinking, oh my God, Chicken Little, sky is falling. It's everybody else's fault. Well, guess what? You're always going to go nowhere. Right. But, it's about keeping a positive mindset. And one of the things I teach too, by the way, my seminars and coaching seminars is, there's a lot of guys out there, these motivational coaches. They'll tell you things like, come on, man, keep, positive mindset, visualize, never quit. It's like, what the hell does all that mean though? Right? Those are, okay. I mean, my kids can tell me that. Come on, Dad, you can do it. Don't quit, But what does it actually mean? I actually go into the science of it. I go into the neuroscience of what does it mean to visualize? What does it mean to not quit? What's going on? When we talk about the psychosoma, the mind and the body, when we talk about spirit, I'm not talking about the Holy Ghost. Okay. I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about the etheric. I'm talking about energy. I'm talking about kinetic molecular theory. So I get into a whole different space that just blows people's minds. But once they understand what I'm teaching, their life starts turning around like, whoa. They break those paradigms. That enculturation that we all go through growing up. We listen to all the tribal lies, so to speak. Everybody gives us advice. It's all bullshit, and we don't realize it sometimes until it's too late. And sometimes, we learn early on in life. But we tend to just kind of like go along with the flow, like the lemmings, like we talked about earlier. And then before you know it, we're like, damn, I missed out because I never challenged that paradigm. And so. Those are the types of things I go into, and that's what I try to, impart on people. I try to help them to, break those chains, man, because, otherwise you're just going to, I'll shut up here in just a second. The last thing I want to say is 76% of all people interviewed that were in their, twilight years, the biggest regret they have was that they never self-actualized, that they never did the things they wanted to do. They never went skydiving. They always thought about it and they just never got around to, or something got in the way, their job got in the way, the wife got in the way, the husband got in the way, the kids got in the way, something got in the way, right? And so they never got to experience all the things they wanted to do. 100% of the people that were in their deathbed in their final hours that were interviewed, okay, now apparently they're still doing interviews like that, 100% said the same thing. They regret that they never became the person they wanted to be. They experienced all the things they wanted to experience. We all achieve some things in our life. We all, enjoy some things in our life. We all have success in our life. But, ask yourself at the end of the day, what is it you really would like to do that you just think is just way outside your grasp? And then ask yourself, why is it outside your grasp, right? And, it almost becomes like it's a self-defeating prophecy when you feel like you can't do something. You limit yourself, right? So the point of all that is, at the end of the day, man, you know what? You got to go for the gusto, and you got to go for it now. There's a couple of motivational coaches out there, and, they'll say, well, how do you, if you want to get good at something, then do one thing at a time. And I'm like, nah, wrong. And the reason they say that is because they only did one thing good. And like, for example, you'll get a guy that was nobody and then all of a sudden became great in real estate and made a lot of money. Or he's a banker, and he was down and out and then now he's got a lot of money. Well, okay, I call those linear success stories, right? They're one-trick ponies. If you do one thing at a time throughout your life and you wait till you perfect one thing before you do another one, well, you'll reach old age and you'll never achieve all the things you wanted to do. You'll miss out on a lot of stuff, right? So the old adage, how do you eat an elephant? The answer is always one bite at a time. If you ask me how to eat an elephant, I say, eat a bunch of elephants one bite at a time, right? So you got to multitask and you got to do a lot of different things at once. You got to, you have to be organized and, you have to be smart about your approach. And that's how you achieve all that you want to achieve. People ask me all the time, Comstock, how the hell did you do all those things? My resume, my bios is over 3 pages long. And at first I didn't know how to answer. I was like, I didn't know I was doing that much. I thought I was just keeping up with the Joneses, right? And then I started looking at it, I was like, I guess I did do a lot of stuff, And I started looking back thinking, well, what did I do to do all those things, And then I realized I didn't do anything but work hard, focus, task organize, and basically, work smarter, not necessarily harder all the time. And I didn't give up anything. I've been happy. I've enjoyed everything. I've done everything I wanted to do. My only failure, my only real failure, and I say this openly, I always joke about it from my seminars, the only thing I suck at is being a husband. And it's not because I'm a bad guy. It's just that I'm never around, and I'm never around because I'm always doing, all this other stuff, that I'm enjoying life.
Hey, are you like me and thought, Why don't we ever have a big rally on the Capitol lawn? Well, you're in luck.
You haven't heard the news yet? On November 2nd, on the west lawn of the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C., we are going to be gathering.
I'm Tim with the Military Arms Channel.
Hey guys, it's Beth Alcazar with USCCA and Concealed Carry Magazine.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Kevin Dixie, better known as KD with No Other Choice Firearms Training.
Everybody, it's Randy Mian, Executive Director of Liberal Gun Owners.
What's up, everybody? It's Argo J.
Anthony here, Gun for Hire Radio.
Matt Mallory, Public Safety and Education, a.k.a. PS&Ed.
Hey, it's Riley Bowman from ConcealedCarry.com.
It's Clint Macro, founder of the Trigger Pressers Union.
Hey guys, Edgar here, Guns for Everyone. November 2nd, Second Amendment Rally, Washington, D.C.
This is Rolo, or as some of you may know me, the Puerto Rican Pistolero.
Hello, everybody. This is Rob Beckman, American Defense Training, the Firearms Trainers Podcast.
Cheryl Todd here from Gun for Freedom Radio.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mike with Budget Guns and Gear Reviews and the Right of the People podcast.
Hi, everyone. This is Carrie from Stilettos and Shotguns and We the Female.
Derek Poole here, Echo 5 Training in Southwest Florida.
Hey, it's Marcus Weldon, author of The Santa Claus Shooter.
I'm Barrett Kendrick with Bear Code Training.
Ted Nugent here, constantly, non-stop, fighting for and celebrating the sacred Second Amendment.
Revolutionaries, SecondAmendmentRally.com. You need to go there. You need to register November the 2nd. You need to be there. My name is Maj Toure, obviously, from Black Guns Matter.
Hey, Cam Edwards here, editor, BearingArms.com.
Hey, everyone, it's John Patton from The Gun Collective.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Chang. I'm History Channel's Top Shot Season 4 champion.
Hey, guys, what's going on? Todd Fossey here from IDS.
Hey, Mark Walters, host of Armed American Radio. And
Hi, I'm Reverend Ken Blanchard, also known as the Black Man with a Gun.
All the FUDs and yes men within the NRA would have you believe that we don't do rallies. But I'm here to tell you that's bullcrap.
Guys, I want to let you know about a rally that's taking place November 2nd.
On the Capitol lawn at 1 p.m.
Join us, we the people, on the steps of the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C. on Saturday, November 2nd from 1 to 4 p.m. for a Second Amendment rally.
Please, we need to be there.
You know, I love the wide open spaces much more than I love inside the Beltway politics, but I love the right to keep and bear arms even more.
My hometown of San Francisco, California, my legislators back there are trying to restrict our Second Amendment rights, and we need to send a loud and clear message to all local and state governments as well as the federal government that our Second Amendment rights are here to stay.
You're it. You're the one responsible for your freedom. You're the one responsible to take that back. We cannot expect anyone else to do it anymore. We have to do it ourselves.
Get signed up today. Make your travel plans. Go to secondamendmentrally.com. Be there. I will be looking for you.
Go to secondamendmentrally.com. Get signed up and just make sure you show up.
Law-abiding gun owners from across the country are converging on Washington, D.C. November 2nd to let their voices be heard and say enough is enough.
All right, so don't meet me there. Beat me there. Peace. Stay safe and stay the course. See you in D.C.
Now, back to Meet the Pressers.
Some smart man told me one time when I was a kid that if you aspire to be better, find somebody that's at the point where you think that you want to be, and then ask them how they got there. Right?
Exactly. Exactly. And that's, there's a lot of truth to that. If you want to be successful, surround yourself with people that are successful, learn from them, kind of like osmosis. And that doesn't mean you neglect everybody else, but if you want to learn, you want to grow. I was lucky because, fortunately I've had the opportunity to work for very wealthy, very successful people, businessmen, billionaires, millionaires. So by being around them, I got to eavesdrop on a lot of their conversations, kind of got an idea about their perspective and their business approach and methodology. So I've learned a lot of things, the good and the bad.
Yeah, coming from a music background, I always would want to be the worst musician in the band. That way I could only grow and get better and better and better with being around the other people in the band.
That's right.
Kind of the same concept.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a lot going on. You got books. How many books have you already written?
Well, technically I've written 3. So I wrote American Badass, which is the one that most people know of. And I wrote another one. I published it, and then I took it off of Amazon. I'm probably going to republish it with a different title, but there's a long story behind that, why I took it down. It has to do with ex-wife. And then I published the 3rd Special Forces Group Combatives Manual, which, as I understand it, became the base document for the Army-wide hand-to-hand program. So those are the 3 that I've written. I have actually 5 more in the works right now. I'm kind of writing several at the same time. It's, it's not difficult, but, it's what it does is it allows me to take a break from one book so I can kind of refresh my mind on something else before I come back to it. So, but my goal is to write them all. I'll have all 5 finished and published in less than 12 months.
So how do you manage your workflow in that? Like we both write articles too. I have several articles published, and sometimes I will sit down purposefully to work on this article, and I'll just like have a cup of coffee and do it. Or there'll be other times where I'll have an epiphany in the middle of the night. It's like, oh, that's going in this article. Is it kind of a mixture of that, or how do you deal with all the? Because writing 3 different books at the same time has to be difficult to manage.
Sometimes, I'll have that epiphany, and I'll start writing down notes. It could be anywhere, anytime. I'll write. I'll write on my phone real quick. I'll put the notes in there, and so I remember it. But and then of course, like most writers, I create an outline, and I keep building on that outline, and then adding content to that until I have the story. So good news is all my writings are based on my experiences, like really happened to me, or I've been involved in. So it actually makes it easy. All I'm doing is just writing out my my memories. That's it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
write about what you know, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. I remember working out one day thinking, man, if a dude walks in the gym right now and he started blasting, can I get my gun out fast enough, and re-engage him? And so I was thinking it all the way through, and I go, what would be better, right? Is there a better way to do this? So as I'm bench pressing like 500 pounds, okay, all right, maybe like 50 pounds, right? I started thinking about it. I was like, hey, how about a backpack that's got a concealed carry holster built to the side? You can just jam your hand in a side pocket and draw your weapon. And I said, let's add Kevlar to it, right? And make it bulletproof. So now you got basically a shield and a gun, right? And the more I thought about it, I started getting really, excited about it. And I went home that day and called, actually fightfast.com, told them what I wanted to do. And they took the lead on getting the product or the materials and everything and helping to assemble it and market it. So it's been out now for about, 3 years. Nice. And I'm actually coming out with a second version. I won't say what it is right now, but it's an enhanced improvement, enhanced backpack that will stop up to rifle bullets, front and back.
Hey everybody, this is Mike from Arms Room Radio. You're watching Meet the Pressers with Matt Mallory and Clint Macro. So sit back, kick up your feet, and enjoy, and exercise your Second Amendment rights responsibly.
Meet the Pressers.
Look, take it from a guy. I fought in every campaign from Grenada in 1983 to the current conflicts overseas right now, to include Yemen. I have seen what happens when you get a company or government that's overreaching, okay, and they just keep chipping away, and before you know it, you're in Iraq. So you can see I get really passionate about this.
No,
you got me fired up.
No, that's what this is about, right? Meet the pressers. We're all shooters, and politics is part of it because we want to try to change the way that the country is going. And one of the ways is from a soapbox, and that's part of the show is on the soapbox, and hopefully it doesn't come to another revolution, but unfortunately it just time tells, especially with these current dolts up on the stage talking about banning our guns and taking guns away, and we've got to do something.
They're going to use guns to take our guns. Okay, that's the irony of it all, right? So how's that work, right? I think the next election, 2020, will say it all, man.
I agree. I think if it goes the way of not to say parties, but if it goes the way the liberal Democrats and down that road, then it's definitely going to be rough.
That'll be the fuse that lights the powder keg, and if Trump wins. If Trump wins, I think it'll be even worse. I think
on the other side.
Yeah, I think it'll blow really fast and hard, because these people came unhinged on the last election. Just think what they will do if they go, oh my God, 4 more years of Trump, because the implications are, everybody knows the implications. More Supreme Court justices. He's going to appoint those that are, leaning to the right. There's a lot of things that are going to change, and that ain't going to make the left happy, And they've already demonstrated that they are willing to be more violent than the right. Mm-hmm. They've already demonstrated their violent tendencies, Yep. And so what would not keep them from ramping it up next time around?
We have a lot of sponsors that made this show possible. Make sure you check them out and give them your business. This episode is made possible with the generous support of Nikon, Shooter Technology Group, ASP, Lee Armory, Saber Red, and the Safer, Faster Defense Responder 2.0. Thank you.
Anyways, it's been great, man. Appreciate it. And, again, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Yes, definitely. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Have
a good day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching the show.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and click that little bell to make sure you know when our next show is uploaded. And until next time,
you're watching Meet the Pressers.
Meet the Pressers.